here we have the CEO of TikTok, Mr. Shou Chu, which again, I don't know how to say that, but he is the CEO of TikTok. And I will say this now. All social media, all web search browsers, all apps, all, I would probably say most, if not all, video game developers that have some sort of website collect your data. Amazon, which I might be the only one watching or, talking to this video that doesn't use Amazon, but Amazon, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, Google, every website, because most of the websites are hosted by Amazon, collects your data and sells it to advertisers, and that is how they make money. These people in Congress that don't know how to open a PDF are asking the TikTok CEO if TikTok connects to the Wi-Fi. They are asking the TikTok CEO. Yeah, but as you're seeing in chat, does this Tic Tac computer game happen to access the other devices on my home interweb? Like, oh my God, can we please raise the budget for Congress to hire experts in the fields that they're asked, like in healthcare, in technology, in all these different fields? Please, can we finally decide that that's a priority too, so that we don't have Mark Zuckerberg coming in there and being like, no, guys, Meta is not collecting data. We're not doing anything bad. And then they have Cambridge Analytica that like almost leads to the collapse of, I won't go so far as American democracy, but leads to this absolute shit show of an election. And then 2020 leads to the undermining of a free and fair election. Enough prelude, though. This is a now this collaboration, or whatever you want, however you want to call it, of some of the stuff from the TikTok hearing. So you're gonna hear some eerie music.
I'm making the following commitments to you and to all our users. Number one, we will keep safety, particularly for teenagers, as a top priority for us. Number two, we will firewall protected US data from unwanted foreign access. Number three, TikTok.
So there, of course, because TikTok is owned by, I believe it at least has some, its own ownership at least is from the CCP in China. That is why he's saying that firewall of protection against, foreign, I don't even, to these people, adversaries, as we will talk about in the next video here. But
remain a place for free expression and will not be manipulated by any government. And fourth, we will be transparent and we will give access to third-party independent monitors to remain accountable for our commitments.
So, Mr. Chu, if the CCP tells ByteDance
here's Dan Crenshaw, Republican from Texas,
to turn over all data,
and remember, the CCP is the Chinese Communist Party. That's why and oh my God, I won't dive into a giant diatribe because people get mad at me. I've gotten people mad at me for not talking about the clips, getting the clips fast enough. But I will remind you that the Chinese Communist Party is communist in name, but is crony capitalist to its core. You can argue about that. We can debate it, whatever. I don't agree with the Chinese Communist Party in any way, and I'm not a socialist either, but the Chinese Communist Party is extremely capitalist, except that they control a lot of the stuff. So it's more towards the fascist end than anything.
Data that TikTok has collected inside the US, even within Project Texas, do they have to do so according to the Chinese law?
Congressman, first, I'm Singaporean.
That's fine, but there are employees of yours and ByteDance's in China.
We understand this concern.
So, Mr. Chu, would TikTok be prepared to divest from ByteDance and Chinese Communist Party ties?
I don't think ownership is the issue here. With a lot of respect, American social companies don't have a good track record with data privacy and user security. I mean, look at Facebook and Cambridge Analytica, just one example.
The Chinese government has that data.
Congresswoman, I have seen no evidence that the Chinese government has access to that data. They have never asked us. We have not provided.
I find that actually preposterous.
Our commitment is to move the data into the United States to be stored on American soil by an American company, overseen by American personnel. So the risk will be similar to any government going to an American company asking for data.
Which, by the way, again, this is why I said it in the beginning, is not a good thing. If there was one good takeaway from the Andrew Yang presidential campaign, it was noting that if we had to sell our data, if we are allowing, because by default, by opting into utilizing the internet, you're opting into them collecting your data. Now, I opt in to use YouTube. I'm streaming on YouTube right now. That's probably where most of you are watching me. I was at a client. This is how crazy this is. I was at a client for work where I talked about a construction company's invoice. And by the time I got home and I was watching whatever stupid YouTube video about like Overwatch or whatever I was watching, or RuneScape video, I was getting advertisements for the company that I talked about to the client. A construction company. I'm not a real estate developer. I'm not buying. In fact, this weekend, I was talking about the potential for my capstone project and developing, hopefully, this idea of maybe a commercial kitchen. By the time that I got home, and again, I was watching, YouTube drama videos, I was getting advertisements for refrigerators and sinks and all this stuff. I already have that stuff. It's listening to us. These corporations are already listening to us. It's not good that it's a Chinese company, and it's not good that it's an American company. It's not good that it's Facebook, and it's not good that it's YouTube or Google, and it's not good that it's TikTok. But the fact of the matter is that the only alternative that I've heard is that we don't let them collect our data, or the Andrew Yang model, we get paid for our data, or the current system, which is we just let it rain and companies like Amazon reap the benefits of all of this data that they have on us. In marketing class in college, this is how old this goes back. When I was in college, in marketing class, my professor taught me about the way that companies collect your data and how, I believe it was Target or Walmart, one of those like big box stores, knew the buying patterns of a certain customer because they had their data. Now, again, this could be from a different perspective because they're probably using a scan card, right? They are tracking this person, this woman at the time, and knew that the woman was pregnant before her own father did because of the spending and buying patterns of the person. And that was it was arguable that they were like because of the patterns were getting to basically before the woman even knew. So they started advertising baby stuff. That's dystopian. And in the chat, we get the benefits from this too. It's not all malicious reasons. I could not disagree with that more, to be honest with you. The only benefit we get from this, in my opinion, is we get targeted ads. We get things that are targeted towards us, which are predatory, in my opinion. In a consumerist society that is overwhelmingly fixated on selling you crap that you don't need, as somebody that buys crap that I don't need impulsively, that is what the data is used for. That is what the data is used for. These algorithms, and I don't know, I honestly don't even remember if they talk about the algorithm here. The algorithms on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram are toxic. They're destroying people's minds. I know I sound like a boomer, but frankly, they are destroying people's minds. They are making us, I hate going on social media for this reason. They make us envious of other people. We want. And in an American society, we can get. So we go and buy. And they advertise to us. So we buy. And then it's like, well, you just bought this game console. Now you need this game. Now you need this accessory. Now you need this. Now you need that. And it's just constantly flooding with crap. People could argue, oh, the data, I'll give you an argument. The data is good to prevent crime. It's good to prevent terrorist attacks, which there's not been solid evidence to prove any of that stuff either. We study it in school. Like, we have talked about this in the Philadelphia examples of saying, well, how much security do you need to do 10% drop in gun crime? Yeah. The algorithms feed you what you give it. Yes, that's true. And we're all guilty of it. And yes, we all need Totino's pizza rolls. And now I'm going to have advertisements for Totino's pizza rolls. Here's an example from public health. You Google / whatever food stamps or Medicaid or whatever, the algorithm of Google and other companies use that information to also promote businesses and organizations if they effectively use SEO and data analytics. I'll push back and say, do companies or things that are associated with Medicaid or food stamps outweigh the bullshit and the consumerist, profit-driven advertisers that will actually jump to the top of Google because they pay to be at the top of Google? I can grant certain levels of, an algorithm after a search, but that's not what these all are. That's really a big difference too. And trust me, after working with food pantries and looking at community fridges, it's not promoting organizations like food pantries at the top. It might promote them in there, but it is not at the top. And that you can argue it's about SEO. You can argue about all this different stuff, right? But in the grand scheme of things, the person with the most money, because they're the advertisers, because they sell the most crap, get to the top. There are, I'm sure, one-offs that actually are beneficial. In my opinion, I think that we should really look at dismantling the ability for these algorithms to work their way into social media at least. We have to look at AI is a whole nother issue. But for this, man, I think we gotta figure out how to pump the brakes.
To be free of all and any government manipulation. This is something that, as far as I understand, no other company, including American companies, are willing to go. So maybe this is something that we can ask the industry to provide, not just us.
Can you say with 100% certainty that TikTok does not use the phone's camera to determine whether the content that elicits a pupil dilation should be amplified by the algorithm?
We do not collect body, face, or voice data to identify our users. The only face data that you will get, that we collect, is when you use the filters to have, say, sunglasses on your face, we need to know where your eyes are. And
Why
that
do you need
da-
to know what the eyes are if
and-
you're not seeing if they're dilated?
And that data is stored on your local device and deleted after
Yeah, the iPhones do that.
use if you use it for facial. Again, we do not collect body, face, or voice data to identify our users.
Mr. Chu, has ByteDance spied on Americans at the direction of the Chinese Communist Party?
I don't think the spying is the right way to describe it.
All right.
This is ultimately
We can differ on
this
that.
is
I
this is
reclaim my
ultimately
time.
an
If I have a
Question.
TikTok app on my phone and
This is it right here.
my phone is on my home Wi-Fi network, does TikTok access that network?
it will have to access the network to get connections to the internet, if that's the question.
Is it possible then that it could access other devices on that home Wi-Fi network?
Congressman, we do not do anything that is beyond any industry norms. I believe the answer to your question is no.
So that's that there. Let's see if I believe I have at least I think I had one. Oh, no. Here I actually do have something that is I'd like to just to throw in. This is a little bonus stuff here before we go into the Restrict Act in the response. I'm from chat. I'm catching up here. To be sponsored post, you must pay to be added. The data it's listening to is usually algorithm based. The issue is if people are going to the companies that are paying to be sponsored, it increases their engagement, which then boosts those companies to the other sites. If a company is paying to be at the top or has a better search engine optimization, they will be at the top, and people are, let's just, for the sake of brevity, 99% more likely to click the first search result, even if it's sponsored, because most people that are tech illiterate don't look that it's sponsored. And the government collecting and using this data is not a good argument to say that it's good. None of it, I don't believe that that's good. The data collection is, for most reasons, in my opinion, we could go on about this, I'm sure, not good. Here we have today, as we talk about people being dragged in front of Congress. This is Bernie Sanders questioning the CEO, or the former CEO and founder of Starbucks. But this is Bernie clapping back at a Republican, and I just think it was great.
Misstatements in a shorter period of time than I have ever heard.
Please correct
Well,
me,
if I'm
because
worth
it's
$8
all
million,
public.
excuse me.
It's all public.
Excuse me.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Excuse me.
Yes, sir.
If I'm worth $8 million, that's good news to me. I'm not aware of it. That's a lie. All right. Number
Part
two,
of public records.
you're probably looking at some phony right-wing internet stuff. It ain't true.
No,
All right. You should read beyond that. It is not true.
it's
All right.
It's
Mistakes.
a great palate cleanser. You gotta love a little Bernie action here. And just a final point on this. Final point on this, and then we'll move on. I was talking about both because the advertisements are connected. The advertisements when I say that the advertisements were on my YouTube videos, I'm not talking about I was getting advertisements for construction equipment. My phone was quite literally listening to me and advertised the company. I didn't Google the company. I didn't look up the company. They collected the data because I said the company Granger. And you can look that company up. You probably don't know what it is. Nobody knows what it is because we're not in the construction business. But I'm getting advertisements for it on my YouTube channel, or on when I'm watching my phone. I'm getting all this stuff. I'm not typing in, I'm not looking it up. The algorithm is trained by listening, not by me Googling and searching. But the search results are also impacted by SEO and engagement. We know that. We know that. Here is the quick TikTok summary of what is in the Restrict Act, which has been proposed in the wake of these TikTok hearings.
Internet is about to fundamentally change forever, and it's terrifying. This is Bill S686, also known as the Restrict Bill. You'll probably know it as the TikTok ban bill, but it does so much more than just that. It actually does more than any bill I think we've ever seen. I encourage everyone to read it by going here and clicking the text tab, but here are the main takeaways. Foreign adversaries can change by definition, but a few are already listed. They are the People's Republic of China, including Hong Kong, Special Administration Region, the Republic of Cuba, the Islamic Republic of Iran, the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, and of course, the Russian Federation and Venezuela under the regime of Nicolas Maduro Moros. I hope I pronounced that correctly, but these definitions can change at any time. The bill covers hardware technology like modems, routers, and home cameras, and virtual tech like VPNs, and basically bans them if they are manufactured by or used to contact and deal with foreign adversaries. Speaking of VPNs, using VPNs to bypass banned apps such as TikTok is made a criminal act under this bill. And the penalty, it's a minimum imprisonment of 20 years and a minimum fine of $250,000 or $1 million, depending if you knowingly did so to access banned content. The bill gives the federal government the power to monitor any activity used by these suspected devices, virtual or otherwise. Essentially, they can monitor what you are doing at home 24/7 without even informing you. This includes things such as routers, video games, streaming apps, smart thermostats, Ring cameras, basically anything that uses the internet. Now, the real terrifying part of all of this, as if that all wasn't terrifying enough, is that the bill goes on to state that this will happen by the president appointing a secretary of communication. That secretary then forms a group on their own without any voter input whatsoever. This group can have meetings behind closed doors. They don't have to disclose anything. They can ban and deem anything inappropriate or a risk to security at any moment in time. And if they do, they can go through your instant messages, your emails, text, basically anything that uses the internet, and they can censor it. So in summary, this bill can effectively ban anything the government deems inappropriate extremely quickly without warning. The ramifications of this range from breaking up mass communication methods to even watching the cameras in your home, aka spying on you. It really is that bad, and I am not speaking in hyperbole. Please contact your...
So he says go contact your representatives. This is, of course, mostly going to be Republicans that do this stuff, but I'm sure that there are centrist Democrats that also support it. It's something to note. It is not likely to pass, but just something that we should be aware of, that people are trying to do this stuff.